You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Don't miss the new Hulu original drama La Máquina, starring Diego Luna, Gael García Bernal, and Eiza González. La Máquina is the first Spanish-language original series from Hulu. In their long-awaited on-screen reunion, Gael and Diego play lifelong friends, one a boxer and the other his crafty manager, making one last attempt at glory in the ring. But to make it to fight night, they must confront a mysterious underworld organization, raising the stakes to life or death. La Máquina premieres October 9th, streaming on Hulu.
One of the things, Greg, that I always find funny about this obsession that we have with America's most popular sport, while most of us watching have a very remedial understanding of how things happen. So Mike McDaniel 4 games ago knows how to do something that no one else knows how to do, and now Kevin O'Connell knows how to do something that no one else knows how to do.
For now.
Oh, yeah, for now. It
Right.
changes from day to day, but there was a guy who ran this division, the AFC East, for a long time, who has universal genius, who's now unemployed in football genius. And the reason he had it is because he figured out, once upon a time, what McDaniel figured out with Tua, he figured out with Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady never got hurt except for that one season. And that one season, Bill Belichick, who had expertise on both sides of the ball, went 10-6 or 11-5 with Matt Castle. But the nature of that genius that we don't understand. I want to play for you a story from Bill O'Brien, who's now at Boston College. And Bill O'Brien is talking about their quarterback room. And I want you to hear what a caveman genius Bill Belichick was when he tells this story with Julius Edelman about Matt Castle and Julian Edelman about Bill Belichick.
There's a lot of good coach stories. I can remember like the quarterback meetings when I first got there. So that was Tom, Matt Castle, who you know is one of the funniest human beings of all time. Up there with Matt Light, Rich Ornberger, like those three guys.
Outrageous.
These are very funny
They're
guys.
funny guys.
As you know, Bill would come in later in the week, meet with the quarterbacks, and Bill would take his shoes off. And Bill, as you know, Bill didn't wear socks.
Yeah.
So and at that time, the quarterback meeting room was pretty small. And so I remember this one meeting, and Matt Castle was like, "What is that smell? Like, what is that smell?" And like nobody says anything, and we're all like, Matt Castle, he was the very funny guy who didn't care about making anyone uncomfortable. He loved making you, and so he was like, no, seriously, like, what is that? Bill, is that your feet? And Bill, I'll never forget this. Bill looked at him and goes, "Castle, just shut the fuck up." I was like, it was like my first year there, and I'm like, I cannot believe I'm witnessing this right now. But as time went on, you could believe it.
Julius Edelman would be like Randy Moss.
He would look like Randy Moss. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Would Julius Edelman look exactly like Randy Moss?
A different guy.
Again, though, the top of the AFC East for 20 years, stinky feet genius who communicates by telling somebody to shut the bleep up because his feet stink. And when I ask you guys the measurement of genius in that sport, is it just whoever's winning at that moment who surprised you because you didn't think they were going to be any good?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because Brian Flores is now that guy. So they're 4-0 all of a sudden. And that big interview we did with Tua before the season where Brian Flores has to come out with his soldiers at his side to defend himself, that was 4 games ago.
Yeah.
And now Brian Flores, everybody's saying because they're 4-0 and no one expected the Vikings to be any good. As soon as they're up 28-0 and we can't explain Sam Darnold, it's got to be the coaches. Must be the coaches. How'd they get to 4-0? But explain this part to me. Shanahan had Darnold. Why didn't that become a thing?
Shanahan's backing up Brock Purdy.
But Shanahan's the genius.
Yeah. Right, but he had Purdy in front of Darnold.
He wasn't really playing.
Right. Yes.
He wasn't getting the opportunity, and he looked fine when he did come in.
But Sam Darnold was beaten out by the guy who was the last pick in the draft.
Right. Yes.
Well, I don't think that there was ever a competition. I think the timeline is like he came in to back up. Like the understanding was you're backing up Brock Purdy because we made this run with Purdy. But I understand where you're getting at. But Sam Darnold is getting an opportunity, and quite honestly, I don't even know if he's getting this opportunity if J.J. McCarthy doesn't get hurt in the preseason.
No, J.J. McCarthy was supposed to start.
They had the kind of like succession plan, like we'll start with the veteran, see if
Darnold
this
for
high
4
ceiling
games,
veteran.
right, yeah.
Keep in mind, Sam Darnold's still very young. He's younger than Joe Burrow.
I know.
Give him the 4 games, and then everybody would get frustrated and want the young guy in there.
I think the question you're asking is why didn't Darnold work with the Jets? But we know the answer to that.
No, what I'm asking is how you guys measure any of this stuff that makes it an indicator that somebody who's a coach isn't a fool like you were telling me McDaniel sounded like at the end of the press conference after 2 scoreboards come out, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought this guy could produce point totals with anybody. I thought that was the trick that he had. He can make any offensive line run the ball. He can make these receivers look like they're the fastest team in the league because of all their timing and scheming.
Well, Darnold has Justin Jefferson, which sort of helps. But I think one of the stories in the league is that Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are reinventing themselves and reinventing their reputations. These are the guys who were busts. These are the guys we all wrote off. They're going to be career backups from here on in, and they're both like really, really good right now.
Really good. If you watch them, it's not just gimmicky things. Like they're making individual plays that make you believe, like, okay, maybe these guys figured it out. What I am astonished by is Tepper in Carolina, they had a plan. Let's take these guys that still have talent. We remember our evaluation process when they got into the draft, and things went a little sideways for them at their previous spots. But we think that we can win with these guys, Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. And that's how bad things are at Carolina, because we wrote them off for dead. Their careers are over after what we saw in Carolina, and they both have reshaped themselves after multiple spots thereafter.
But so much of this with the coaching has to do with the timing. Dan Quinn has been a head coach before. He wasn't very good. Now he's going to be the coach for the Commanders for the next 15 years because he has Jaden Daniels.
That helps, and when Mike Ryan mentions Carolina, it doesn't help that Sam Darnold went... What Greg Cody's analysis just was of Justin Jefferson helps. I think Robbie Anderson was Sam Darnold's best receiver in Carolina, or close to it. Close to it.
And the Jets.
Yes, and the Jets.
They had Baker Mayfield running DN drills on scout team in Carolina.
The idea that we know that we have enough information to know how Stinky Feet Genius runs a division for 2 decades, and then the entire league tells us, yeah, he's not that much of a genius anymore. He doesn't actually know more than anybody. Don't want him running our team right now.
Well, how smart was he when Brady left the team and went to Tampa Bay, and then Bowles became the guy?
Yes.
By the way, the 2 guys that are kicking ass with Minnesota, Flores and their head coach, O'Connell, like those are Belichick guys. Belichick brought Kevin into the league. Brian Flores was a tremendous defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. So maybe we can revisit that take too.